And they stole their spaceships and figured out how to,
see, now why didn't I
push the
think of
button
that?
and go to space.
That's what I should be doing, is stealing other people's spaceships and going out.
They're very smart, but they're very smart. I will give them that. And the one Mark talks to me about, the one Mark talks to me about the most could speak 16 languages. Human languages.
Human languages, right.
The more elite of them have operations, like 4 different operations to speak human languages.
Really? Why would you put yourself through 4 operations to speak one of our languages? That
To
doesn't make any
communicate.
sense. They must be like ambassador type.
Yeah, because when Naka came here the first time, he was, came as an ambassador. He is a prince, but he came as an ambassador. And actually, in the late 30s, when the Germans, before they actually started World War II, they found they had come across. I know I'm digressing. But they had come across a base in Iran where there's a very stable dimensional portal there, and I think it's raptors. Some raptors were in charge of the base. So before some of the raptors started working with us, you have raptors and reptoids working with the Nazis, helping them with their stuff.
Now, why is this the first time I've ever heard this from you?
I don't know.
That's scary. Did I miss something? I would never. Oh my God.
But that was in the 30s, and then
why did they work with us? The USA. Why did they work with us?
I don't know. I guess maybe we weren't thinking about going to war yet. I don't know the
It
whole
could
story
be,
about that. But Mark's old history professor, who was an intelligence agent, went undercover on that Nazi expedition and was actually with them when they came across the raptors. And some of them were allowed to survive, the humans, because the raptors wanted to connect with the Nazis and work with them. Amazing, huh? Because that kind of leads into...
And that's fine, but what were they working on?
Oh, like they were giving them technology and stuff. So I don't think it's
So
any
the
secret that the Nazis. Well, I don't know what
The raptors were giving the Nazis technology?
I'm not sure who was given. I mean, I know they got technology. I know they got technology from other species. I don't know what the raptors did with them. So I'm not good on that.
So where are the raptors from?
Here.
Oh, they're from here.
They're from here originally.
Oh, okay.
So let me finish that part of the story. So they had gone out into space, colonized. An asteroid hit the Earth 65 million years ago. They had bases on the Moon and Mars. The beings that survived the asteroid hit are what evolved into the reptoids, which are more human-looking species. Okay. The raptors came back. They thought they'd only been gone maybe a few thousand years. They'd been gone millions of years, and all of a sudden we were here. And it's like, oh my gosh, the hairless apes, not apes. The hairless apes have taken over Earth, and this is bad. So they were not happy with us. But this is still that they believe this is their home world. So I will say
I understand that. But, now that I know about the interaction with the Nazis, I'm a little bit like, oh my God. So were the hairless apes? Were they trying to get rid of us with the Nazis? Were they behind the millions?
The hairless apes are just us.
Exactly. Were they trying to kill us off with World War II and the Russian front?
We have to talk to Mr. Richards about all that. I don't know all the history involved. But what is interesting is another thing he's working on is a whole thing that was happening in the U.S. Southwest, which is the beginning of the Dulce base being built. In 1940, you had reptoids or raptors, I don't know which. I think they're reptoids, and Nazis.
And this is
we hadn't gotten into World War II yet.
Exactly.
They were there. Havoc was being wreaked.
Yes, and you
Mark's
are not
dad
the only one.
Mark's dad had to go down there because his dad couldn't. So Mark's dad, as a teenager, is going down there and dealing with aliens.
Yes, and this is corresponding with some of I know that most of you know that I've talked to a lot of people that I haven't even been on my radio show yet. And one of the things I'm finding out is there actually was a huge contingency of Germans that weren't necessarily Nazis at the time. They were just scientists and others that had been working with the aliens. And in the late 20s, 30s, and even into the 40s during World War II, they were actually working in these underground bases. And I'm starting to find this out. I thought it was after World War II that all that started taking place, but I'm finding it was actually way before World War II. And actually, a lot of it has to do with World War I, surprisingly. That they were getting the people from out of Germany and out of that area because people didn't want to be over the European front anymore, dealing with that because of all the. Even after World War I, the economy was really bad. The region was unstable. There were a lot of problems after World War I, and people just aren't. All the researchers out there haven't really looked at that era, which is funny to me because it's the one era that I think is really important. And I'm starting to realize more and more stories are starting to connect between like 1920 and 1942. And there's a lot more going on in there, folks, than we even can imagine right now. So.
Well, and because going to that time period, again, I know I say this every time I talk, but both of Mark's grandfathers worked with Nicola Tesla on his various projects. And Mark's dad, as a teenager, would go spend summers with Tesla and other scientists, and he got to test some of Tesla's gadgets and inventions and things. So he was around that stuff even before he went into the military.
Did Tesla die in
1943.
Is it 43?
Yeah.
And how old was Mark?
Mark wasn't born yet. But
His dad was
a teenager.
Okay, for some reason I thought you said Mark, and I was thinking,
No, Mark's
he has
dad.
to be awfully young or old at this point.
No, well, he thinks he's old, but he's only 59.
He's only 4 years older than I am.
Yeah.
I always find that just so fascinating. And because JoAnn looks so young, I keep thinking she's younger than me, and there we go, and I forget all of our ages,
He's a very old soul.
Yeah.
He's a very old soul, and he's very wise and very experienced on many levels.
One of these days, I'm actually going to go up to the prison and meet him.
Good, that would be good.
It would be fun. Can we go together?
Yes, but you have to get approved first.
I know, I got to get approved. I got to get a driver. I got to tell you guys, I'm going to quickly go off into me for 1 second here.
Yeah.
I got a ticket for not driving with my seatbelt on. And they kept changing the date on me, and I accidentally did not end up in court because I got all the dates mixed up. And I started fighting this ticket, and I've been fighting it for over a year now, and my driver's license expired 4 months ago. So if they want to come and get me, I guess they're going to have to, because I've got to get my driver's license fixed before I can try to go to the prison.
Yes, because they do a background check, and they do check your ID.
Yeah, and if it's not valid, I don't think I'm going to get in.
No, because you have to show your ID to get in.
Yeah, and then they'll go, oh,
do you have a passport?
Expired.
Do you have a passport?
I can't get a passport.
Really?
Then.
No, I can't. I'm joking. They probably have me on that blacklist.
Hey, I have a passport, so you can get one.
Oh, yeah. Well, if JoAnn's got one, I can get one.
Exactly. I know I'm on some list.
Hey, on the thing, sorry to interrupt, but on Tesla, did he really die? Because I hear a different story.
Yeah, he did.
That the person that they had in the New Yorker hotel was a body double because they didn't want the Russians and the Germans to know that Tesla was still alive because they were afraid they would kidnap him.
Well, I'll tell you, and my husband's written a report about the Philadelphia experiment and the expanded version of the different parts of that experiment. And about a week before Tesla died, Mark's dad and his father were, Tesla had him come to the hotel, and he was saying, I know somebody's going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. No, it's okay, because here, you take all my secret notes. No, it's okay, you're going to be fine. No, take all my, my black notebooks, secret notes, da-da-da-da, because I know they're going to kill me. Well, they took what people call now the black notebooks, or the secret, a lot of the secret stuff. And he did die, as far as I know. But, and my father-in-law and his dad were put in charge of those secret things, and they went and hid them. So that means somebody that I know very personally is now in charge of them.
So what you're telling us is where they all went, and this whole thing about the FBI and the CIA and everybody coming there to clear them all out?
I think they got a lot of it. But the most very secret special stuff my father-in-law and his dad were given, no, I have no idea where they're at. I'm never doing stuff like that to protect me.
Oh, of course.
So I don't know where they are, but somebody I know knows where they are.
Okay, now that's interesting. Now that's
Well,
a new twist.
what's interesting in I think it was November or December. When did Tesla die? In November?
I thought it was January.
January. It would have been January.
1943.
Because in January of 2000, exactly, it was January 2000. I was in New York, and the publisher of Feral House Books was there. We had the same literary agent, and we went to the room in the New Yorker where he died. Marilyn Manson was there, and we did a séance because they did a séance. I was just watching because they wanted to resurrect Tesla's, and he didn't show up. And the person running the séance said, "No, he didn't die here. That's why he's not here."
Huh.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I've heard several different stories about this, so it's remarkable.
Well, whether he did or not, I know he gave his stuff to the father-in-law and the grandmother.
Okay, so
that much I know.
So you heard it here, folks. This is the first time ever, I think, that you've mentioned this.
Yeah, I haven't been able to say it very often. So.
Yes, so there you are. This is the first time ever on Revolution Radio we found out that we know the person who has the notebooks from Tesla that have the secret information.
I would say he's the guardian.
The guardian of these notebooks.
Because he doesn't have them in his prison cell.
Yeah, they're not
buried on my property.
They're not in Folsom and they're not at the house. So we think that they're somewhere special.
God.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. I like that, JoAnn. See, JoAnn's full of surprises. She always has something new for me, a new tidbit, a new nugget.
And you have the
Hey, now, there's one other
repertoire.
thing I wanted to ask, and we're going to get to our next guest here in just a moment, but one other thing I wanted to ask before I let you go.